Welcome to the ultimate showdown in the world of modern fighting games. Today we embark on a journey to uncover the coolest character in an exciting game in genre. Initially, I thought a simple tier list will suffice, but that's definitely not enough. Over the past 2 months, I have been working in this project, the ultimate fighting games break. From coding to web design, the tools are finally tuned and ready for action. Join me as we crown the coolest character in modern fighting games. Let's start from when it all begins. Let me share a little secret with you. I have profound appreciation for character design across various media, whether it's in games, anime, or manga. However, when it comes to fighting games, my passion reached its highest. Why? Because in this game in genre, you don't really have a story mode, or this is how it was to be. So character design isn't just about aesthetic, it's an art that tells an entire story. The artists behind these characters craft designs that encompass their entire essence, their background, their vibes, fighting style, all with just a single glance. And that's, my friends, is something I truly admire. Humans are undeniably visual creatures. We often judge and perceive based on appearance. They said don't judge the book by its cover. But let's not dismiss the importance of it. After all, it's there for a reason, right? In the world of fighting games, character design reigns supreme. Artists employ various styles and archetypes to captivate their audiences and leave a lasting impression. Because let's face it, the first impression is everything, and when it comes to selling a game, a character must not only be attractive, but exude that undeniable aura of coolness. A character that compels the player to pick up the control and dive into the action. Moves or frame data comes after, since you will not care about these if you don't already own the game. With this in mind, I embark on a mission to create the ultimate tier list of modern fighting game characters. A tier list based on just the coolness of each character. Alright, so I mentioned modern games, but to be precise, I will only consider games that receive update between 2020 and 2024. If a game has a sequel, we will focus solely on the latest version. Here is the process. I start with a list of fighting games I found online, then filter it based on these criteria. Next, I downloaded character portrait for each game. This will be the official character artwork chosen by the developer, not alternative, custom or anything like that. Those are a whole story when you buy the game. Finally, I exclude any re-release version of games, focusing only on new release and ongoing title. And I did not include guest characters, since some games has crossover between each others, apart from 2B. Because I love 2B. Now that the PNGs are ready, you might be expecting a traditional tier list. Tier list where I put each character on a tier from super cool to not cool, just based on their looks. But if I did just that, this video will be the most boring thing to watch and the result will not mean anything. To truly uncover the coolest character, we need a more refined approach. What if I make an app or a website that allow anyone to participate? And in this website, I will make a tournament-like settings where the user will go through multiple phases to determine his coolest character. And the character that got chosen the most is objectively the coolest character in modern fighting game. I start by ordering my idea. On phase 1, we need to get the top 3 characters from each game. And we do that by rating each one of them on a scale of 10. And once the top 3 has been chosen, they will get qualified to phase 2. Since this is a fighting game quiz, I have to make it as a single elimination kind of tournament, where the top 32 will be competing on a single elimination bracket, and the user will choose the winner of each match by clicking on the picture of the character that he thinks is cooler. At the end of this phase, each user will end up with one single character. Then he will submit his result to a list, and the character that got submitted the most is the real chosen one. With the plan in place, it's time to tackle this website project. There is just one hitch. I have zero experience with web development. Not a single line of code. The only electronics knowledge I have is a vague understanding from high school. Remember, student, there is a cause for every consequences. Think of it like this. If it's raining, you grab an umbrella. Cold and windy, throw on a jacket. It's that relationship between cause and consequence that make electronics work. So can I really build a website with just that basic understanding? Probably not. Luckily, we live in age of agent. We have amazing tools with user-friendly interfaces. I figure a simple search will be the key to getting started. After searching for a whole day, I found a ton of services, but nothing quite fit the bill. First, I explored quiz/form maker, like SurveyMonkey and Google Forms. Great option. but some require a subscription. And let's be honest, I am flat broke. Besides, wouldn't that Game Pass subscription will be better investment for more fighting game videos? The free version are limited and lack customization. So I shifted gear and looked at the website builder like Wix and Weebly. After I spent hours trying to configure it to work locally, thanks to my terrible upload speed, another issue arose. This platform seems geared toward e-commerce businesses selling product or services. Not exactly what I need for this specific project. Wix actually has a web app editor that uses coding for customization. But if I am going to code anyway, what's the point of using these services? Seems like I have to step backward. I said before that we are living in the time of Negan. Here is what I mean with that. Think of electronics engineering. Gen 1. We built a specific device for each specific task. Gen 2. We created machines capable of multiple application and calculation, using coding language to perform different tasks based on our needs. Gen 3. This is the age of Negan and apps. No more coding needed. We have various apps for various tasks, like using Photoshop to edit photos. Because I live my whole life in this generation, coding is a foreign language to me, but for this project, it seems like there is no way around it. Learning time. I am lost. I don't even know where to start. I found this playlist and it started to make sense. Using Visual Studio Code and live service, I can see what I am doing in real time, and this feels kinda similar. As I delve into the lessons, my anxiety starts melting away. Apparently, the coding language that I need at the start is HTML, CSS, and JS, JavaScript. What I get from this playlist is that HTML is like the model, CSS is like the texture, and JavaScript is the one dealing with all the complicated calculation. For our example will be animation. Progress is being made. The playlist explains that text.html is always the main page. It also explains where you put the title and content. It also covers how to link CSS and JavaScript to an HTML file. Now comes the hard part. Connecting these concepts to my actual project. I don't necessarily need to finish the entire playlist since I'm not building an online store, but how do I bridge the gap between this basic information and my specific website vision? How much time will it take to reach a point where I can actually start working on my project? What part of each language should I focus on? It's been 3 days and I haven't written a single line of code for my project yet. Should I give up and find another video idea? What should I do? Hold on. Overthinking won't get me anywhere. Remember that sweet combo you landed in that fighting game? It seemed impossible at first, but you practice and eventually you master it. This will be the same. No more fear, just logical thinking and hard work. Now that I think about it, we are entering a new generation, Gen 4. AI machine capable of understanding human language and make a lot of tasks just by describing them to it. What if I write down my project plan and feed it to ChatGPT, asking it to generate the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? At first, it gives me the worst result, pointless result. So I start by breaking down my project into smaller, more manageable parts. Could reduce the workload for ChatGPT and minimize errors. Part 1, phase 1, part 2, phase 2, part 3, index.html, part 4, base of information. Phase 1. I start by listing everything I want in this phase. A way to give the user the ability to rate. A timer so the user will have to react based on his first impression. If the timer runs out, the character will get wiped automatically. If the user has a slow connection, the timer will reset when the image is being shown. Putting the top 3 characters of each game on a list. Dumping all of this on ChatGPT was a recipe for a disaster. That's because of the way I am asking it to do stuff. I have to keep it real and give it the useful information. So this time I aim to an even smaller goal. I start by one game and when it works, I will copy and paste, then tweak it so it works for other games. I wrote down the location of my picture on my project for SF6 and give it to ChatGPT and ask it to put a slider as the way for inputting the score. From here forward, I keep trying and trying. Every time he gives me a code, I try it. I see the issue, feed him back to ChatGPT and tell him to fix it. Do it again. I suggest some solution, then ask it if what I said is right. But this time, I did not feel like I am working with a bot, but a friend, and we are working together to achieve our goal. 3 days of relentless tweaking later, bam! We had a working prototype. Yo, I can't believe it's actually working. All I have to do now is doing the same for all the other games, while changing the theme of each page to make it fresh for each game. What I am doing now is simple. Changing names of files, changing the location of the picture to match the location of the game. While I was working on this, the fear started hitting back. Am I doing it right? Is this the right way to do it? Can I get the top 3 list of each game back? My head started hurting a lot. I choose to ignore it because at this point there is only one way to find the answer for these, and it is by keeping going forward. Music and custom CS style were added, and each game getting distinct personality. Now the real challenge looms, phase 2. But that can wait until I catch some much needed sleep. Phase 2. It's been 8 days since I started working in this, and I'm proud of the progress so far. In this phase, I feel confident. I'm getting used to how ChatGPT works, so it will not be a problem. I copied all of the lists from JavaScript of each game, and I told ChatGPT to export all of the URLs of each image and put it in new list called top 32 list. Then from this, make a single elimination tournament where the user has to choose one image each time by clicking buttons below each image. Simple, right? Wrong. The result was a tangled mess, but at least it pulled the image from the 32 list. A good sign, I thought. From this forward, I kept trying. I kept writing a long explanation, then asked ChatGPT to follow the explanation that I gave it. Then I tried the code. For the first day, nothing worked, so I tried again. Nothing works. I kept working until 5 AM every day, trying to find a great solution, but nothing worked. I am seeing codes whenever I close my eyes, when I go outside to work, or when I lay down to sleep. It's all I think about. Solution for this problem. A week flew by. This is the last try. If it does not work, I will stop working on this. I tried new Google AI, and it's even worse. It keeps talking with no real solution. Maybe I am the problem, because I don't know how to code. I can't point what exactly I want and what exactly is the problem. I start getting angry and I feel weak. No, ChatGPT tried to call me, but he is just an AI. How can he understand how does it feel to be struggling? I did try everything. I manually see the matches so each pair of the pictures will not face a character from the same game at first round. I put the picture on pairs based on this sheet that I made for each round and for each match, but at the end ChatGPT is not a real person. He can't understand anything and he keep adding and removing stuff, breaking my progression. This is my last try. Either it works or I'm quitting. It has been 20 days of works. I couldn't afford to waste another minute. And it's not working. Who is calling? You, bro. What's up? Nothing. Just wasting my time. Why are you calling me so late? It's 1 AM. It's an emergency. I need your help. I am stuck down here with my brother. Car broke down. How am I supposed to help with that? Whatever. Comment. Thanks, but be quick. It's going to rain. While walking downhill, I didn't know how I am supposed to help. I thought at first that we just have to push the car so it can start working, but the engine was completely broken and there is no way it will start working. So we end up pushing the car all the way up. I have never thought that I will push a car on that hill. The idea of it just stupid, but because it was a necessity, I stopped thinking and helped out. Pushing the car, we kept pushing and pushing. Little by little, we reached the middle of the hill. The energy has gone and it's been half an hour. What can we do? We have to keep pushing forward. We decide to ignore the distance and just looking on our feet. Step by step, meter by meters, we kept pushing. And suddenly, the car started to feel light. We have already finished the hill and reached the flat part. At that point, I decide, when I come back home, I will not stop working and work harder instead, because if I run every time it starts to get hard, I will never get good at anything. I'm back home and change my clothes and start working in this car. It's 2 AM, I'm feeling asleep and tired, but I have to keep it up. Same as we managed to bring that car home. If I keep trying, I will manage to finish this phase. I start this by working on new order, a new HTML, a new CSS. I decide on a style that I wanted to do and pull all of the knowledge from before and let ChatGPT work. I tried a lot of code. I can't tell this one will definitely work, and when I tried it, it did not work at all. Now I'm confused. Why? I started looking on some JavaScript tutorial on YouTube. Then I get this idea. I asked ChatGPT, can you verify each part of the code and explain it to me? And this time, ChatGPT suggests something new. To open the console and see if there is any error. And it was right. The JavaScript that I was using was not running at all. I thought, maybe because I called it file, just a number. I open a new file, call it top32matches.js, and I use the same code. Surprisingly, it works. I feel super happy. I made it finally. I can go to sleep now. A new day has started. And all I have to do now is work in the rest of the round. Top 16, top 8, top 4, top 2. Similarly to phase 1, I copy and paste, changing names and so on. Working on a different background and style for each round. And at the end of the day, phase 2 has ended. Finally, after 23 days, I made it. Next part is the easiest one. So, let's start with it. Index.html. This time we are going to work on the main page called index, and the plan is easy. I opened Photoshop to make a prototype, then after I finish making it, I open Word and I start describing my prototype. Like this, I will not struggle as I struggle with phase 2. Then I give the description to ChatGPT and tell it to give me an HTML and CSS. I start from that and I change the content of HTML so it work on my project. And so for the CSS, I made a background for the website and manage all the clickable buttons, modifying the CSS for each element, and every section is good to go, aside from the top 9 section. For this, I need to build a base of information to store the submission of each one of the user, and I have no idea how to start. I know that I have to start working on it immediately, but I don't know why. I feel this feeling of accomplishment. I feel like this project has over, but I have a new challenge waiting me. I could not start working on it. I can't put myself to start. I have always been this lazy, and if I stop here, I will never come back to this project. So I decide to take some rest. Maybe I am just tired, and come back tomorrow. A week has passed and I am back to work. What I need now is to find a free way to store data automatically. After a lot of research, I come across a lot of suggestions, and there are a lot of new words that I am facing. MySQL, Firebase and so on. Also, I found some solutions that need Python, and there is no way I will put more time into learning a new language. I know the pain of dealing with something you have zero information about. I also found about GS Node and API. What I want is a completely free way to store data, and I will not need any special class or whatever. I will just extract the URL of final image and submit it automatically if the user presses yes. So if I can just make a public Excel file from my PC and get the user submission. But if I did this, I have to keep my PC connected, and I can't do that. So I tried another approach using Google Sheet. I just had to forget about the idea of live showing the results. From here forward, I don't really know how I managed to make it work, because there are a lot of security stuff you have to be concerned about. And since my knowledge is not at a level where I can talk about that, I will just say this. I used an API to put the URLs on a Google Sheet, and it took a week to do. But I am glad I did it at the end. Now that I have overcome the two biggest challenges I was facing, the rest of the project should be smooth sailing. The next step is simply learning how to upload my website to the internet. What I found is same as I was using live server to run my code from my local machine. I have to find a host who will run my code on their server and make it accessible online. As you know, my top priority was finding a free solution. Thankfully, this video provided a step-by-step guide on how to achieve this using GitHub pages. I faced some issue because my project has more than 400 files in total, and the GitHub page does not allow you to upload more than 100 files at a time. The workaround was using a command to create a new folders named after my existing folders, and then uploading the files from each folder separately. So far, I have managed to avoid spending any money, but I have reached a roadblock, the domain name. Free options like the standard domain offered by GitHub pages aren't very appealing. I faced a decision: buy a cool domain name or end this project here. After a careful consideration, I decided to invest in a domain name, using the promo code mentioned in the video. Following the video's instructor step by step, I am thrilled to say that my website is finally complete. Now I realize that all I need to do is share the link with one of my friends who has a phone, so I can test it on multiple devices. What happened was a massive rookie mistake. The website appeared broken on phones because I have been exclusively working on my PC, specifically tailored to its screen size. It's disheartening to see that the website doesn't adapt smoothly to other screen sizes. Then the YouTube algorithm surprisingly blessed me with the video title, "Only Noobs Build Beautiful Websites."
Yeah, you read the title right. Only noobs design beautiful websites.
Addressing precisely the issue I am facing, it's a reality check for me, because this website was built to answer a simple question: who is the coolest character in modern fighting game? All I have to do is to make sure that it is working and try to fix the look of it later. Upon trying the quiz, I encountered some bugs. Some images don't show up, although they work fine on my local machine. The issue: I mistakenly used lowercase letters in some image names instead of capital letters. which didn't match the file names in my repositories. Oddly, it worked on the live server, but on GitHub pages it required exact alphabet to alphabet matching. Now that I have fixed everything, one task remains before I can share the website. Since starting this project, 4 months have passed and new characters have been released for some games. I made sure to update the character list with the latest addition. Abba, Slayer, Akuma, Vayne, Monk, Ide, and Ermac. With everything sorted, all I need is your help. By practicing in the quiz, we can determine the coolest character in modern fighting games. The link is below, or visit ufgr.net. No sign in required, just jump in and play the quiz. This project really opened my eyes. It made me see how awesome our world is today. We have got things like fridge that keep our drinks cold and planes that let us travel far. But sometimes, we forget how lucky we are. We forget about all the people who work hard to make these things happen. You might send a message to your friend around the world and just expect it to work. But I want you to think at least once how amazing is it to even be possible, and that there were a lot of people who work hard to make it work. From the ones who invented the technology over the years, to the ones who built the networks. This is what this project taught me. Ignorance can make us blind, so from now on, before I got mad about a game glitch and online lag, or complain about an anime's quality, I will remember that there are human living beings trying their best to survive by doing their best on their work. Even if something isn't perfect, we should still appreciate the effort. Not only in this, but on every aspect of life. Even the work my mom put into preparing our meal has to be appreciated more, and we get more prize for it. If you have made it this far in the video, you are amazing. I put a lot of effort into making this video all together while learning how to make a website. So thanks for sticking around. And if you try out the quiz, I will be really grateful. Thanks for watching. See ya, and check this video too.